Family, happy Friday. So in this video I'm going to share with you guys some tips and tricks for those of you who's starting out wholesaling, telling you stuff that you need to do to focus on and things that you shouldn't focus on, so that way you don't waste your time. All right, so I'm gonna wait until you guys get on here. Hello from Vietnam. I think this is day number 20. I think this is day number 23. Day number 23. I got the Vietnamese sandwich. For those of you who don't know what it is, oh man, it's delicioso, man. B, happy Friday, Joe Dirt. Hell yeah. Happy Friday. This is T. What up, bro? That's a Mexico Torito. For those of you who haven't followed me on Instagram, man, hit me up on IG. I went live on IG a couple of times yesterday, bring you guys behind the scene where the wife photo shoot is, man. So go to Kong, K-H-A-N-G, dot, like a period, W-T-M. They have sandwich that looks like that too. They made out of chicken though. Oh man, this is so good. Those of you who haven't had a Vietnamese sandwich, you should go get one after this. Definitely it's a tortilla. What up, Kong? Corey? Leonardo? What does it have? So let me show you what it has. I probably won't be able to tell you everything that it has because I probably don't know the translation. But it got pork. It's pretty much pork, barbecue pork, cilantros, cucumbers, and this is like, I don't know what you call these. These are like relish or something like that, but they're good. Guess how much this cost me? So in America, this sandwich here, you guys, this is not a food review. I would definitely want to let you know that. In America, this one here costs roughly about, I think $3.75 or $4. Here, it's $1. All right, so I don't want those of you to get confused. This is not a food review channel. I'm gonna share with you guys some tips and tricks for those of you who's starting out. What to focus on and what not to focus on so you don't waste your time. One, don't focus on land. Don't focus on land. Land is really tough to wholesale because it takes time, right? Because it takes time, right? You can wholesale over to a developer, you can wholesale over to a builder. It just takes a lot of time because they got to figure out, what's the zoning, what they can put on it. They got to figure out, can they get utilities there, like water, sewer, like all of that. So don't focus on land, man. I have so many guys like, hey, comp, land. Basically what it is that when I say, you guys gotta understand, when you first starting out, there are just so many things, and if you're not focused on the right thing, then you are spending your time, you're wasting your time doing some other things where I'm just sharing with you that is tough. And when I first started, that's exactly what happened to me because I was just trying to do everything I can to like get a deal, right? Don't focus on land, and don't focus on like commercial building, man, storefront. And don't get all excited on the $500,000, the $1 million, the $2-3 million. Like, I try that. And you guys gotta understand, when you are focusing on the commercial side, right? Commercial building, storefront, or you work on a large apartment, the $1 million, the 1.2, like it sounds good. Like it sounds sexy, right? You tell everybody, oh, I got a $1.2 million under contract. I got a $1 million apartment under contract. It sounds sexy, but trust me, man, you are now, like your buyer is very limited. Does that make sense? Like there's more people having a couple $100,000 sitting there cash than the $500,000, the million, the $2-3 million. And when you get into those kind of property, it takes longer to wholesale, right? Because now these are more savvy, right? These investors, these guys that are buying it are more savvy. They look into more details. They look into cap rates. They look into ROI, right? Return on their investment. So they're more savvy. And the buyer is very, like, you know, it's obviously it's limited, right? There's not a whole lot of buyers out there that have that kind of money versus the one that are single family. That's why, you know, stick with the bread and butter, the single family. Duplex, fourplex, triplex, you know, those are also considered single family. Anything that are 5 units or more, those are now getting into commercial. So you're looking at cap rate and ROI. So I really, you know, if you're looking into multifamily, duplex, triplex, fourplex, it's okay because now it's about versus the rent, right? So when you look at those are, to me, when it comes to multifamily, those are still quick. You can wholesale them quicker, and there are buyers in that category, more buyers, if that makes sense, you guys. But when I first started, man, I look into everything, and that's the problem. All right, that's the problem for me. I'm not saying that's a problem for you. Maybe it's not, but it was a problem for me. So I'm sharing with you my experience, and that I got distracted, and I was focusing on the wrong thing. I should have just stayed laser focused on single family home, the bread and butter. Just target those. Right? I was spending time going out, meeting with seller, walking the property, walking the land, talking about the acreage where I go home and I did some research, right? Because I know nothing about that. I know nothing about that area. So I went home and I did some research, I called some realtor. So all of those time I could have just spending on finding single family home deal. Does that make sense, you guys? You know, like I try, man. I try going into land, subdivide them. Right? Oh man, I buy 2 acres, it can be subdivided. I go down to the city, I call the city, I try to connect with the developer, I try to connect with a builder. Like I connect, like I call realtor and I start, and it just takes a lot of your time doing it, where you need to spend that time to focus on the money making, the quick wholesale, the single family, the bread and butter. All right, so don't make that mistakes. Another one, Freddie, what up? Another one is that qualify your leads before you go out to appointment. Now, hold on. Those of you who are starting out who said, hey Kong, like maybe I should go out there to get the feel of it, to get the experience. Sure, you can do that, no problem. I did it, like you can do that. If you only work on 1 or 2, maybe you only got 1 or 2 calls a month. But I'm saying eventually you need to set your mind as you need to qualify them first, right? Qualify them and then go to the appointment. But don't just pick up the phone and the seller say, hey, I got a property here, I'm interested in selling, and you be like, okay, I can meet you there tomorrow. Trust me, a lot of times where you get a call or you call them and their number is like not even in a ballpark you're talking about, and you go out there and you meet with them, you spend half an hour, and then you came back empty-handed. I mean, when you first started, if you're just trying to get your feet wet, and you're just trying to get the ball rolling, you're just trying to get to experience it, then to me it's okay. But some of you are just going out to every single appointment, right? Going out to every single one of them. And I did that, but those times I could have sit there and cold call and qualify my leads, or I could have cold call agents, realtor, connect with them. You know what I mean? I'm just telling you guys that, to not waste your time and spend your time on like really the money making task, like getting that feels. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to tell you that you can eliminate by not going out to every single appointment by qualifying your seller first. Another one is that when you get on the phone with the seller, most of you guys when you get on the phone with the seller, when you first starting out, when you get that first phone call, or when you get a chance to talk to that one seller, maybe you've been doing it, you know, maybe you've been marketing, you've been cold calling, all of a sudden you got this one interest seller, and you get on the phone, you get super excited, you get so nervous, right? Your heart beats really fast, you get super nervous, you don't want to lose the deal, you don't want to say anything, you don't want to say something wrong. I want you to really prep your mind up, because that's going to be the problem. When you get on the phone and the seller, when you talk to the seller and they can feel that from you, like if you're, so you need to stay calm, because otherwise your thoughts scatter all over the place. And then when you're on the phone with the seller, you're going to come off as not confident, and you don't know what to say, you don't know what question to ask. So don't worry. So many of you guys, when you get on it, you get all excited, you're afraid that you're going to lose the deal. Listen to me. You gotta think. You can't be on the call being desperate. Don't come in the call being desperate, be like, oh my God, this is the only deal that I got. I can't, like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't ruin it. Don't worry. You get on the phone there, do what you need to do, right? Stay calm and just breathe. And if this, you just gotta think, man, if this deal doesn't work, there's plenty more. So that way you don't come off on the call like you're desperate. If the deal does not work, if your service does not work for them, if the number doesn't work, you do the best, just move on, right? Just think that there's plenty more. Dude, when I remember my first couple calls, I get on and I do all my marketing, I get some incoming calls, I get so excited. I was trying so hard to make the deal work. I was trying so hard. So basically, she goes around and sell lotto tickets. So over here, man, they go around, they sell you lotto tickets. But I get on the calls and I get, like, I was so desperate, like I want the deal. Like I was trying to create the deal when there's no deal to be created. Come on, you guys, show me some love. Smash the thumbs up. It's Friday. Come on, man, smash the thumbs up for the Friday. Some of you guys are Friday payday. Can't have those baby skin, man. When you're on the phone with the seller, dude, you gotta have like alligator skin, bro. You gotta have alligator skin. Kong, do you have any rental property? Yes. David, yes I do, man. We started out living in a shack. Never thought I would one day own rental properties. So, and then we got up to 18 units. And now we're down to, I think we sold half of it already. So now I think now we're down to like, maybe, let me see here, 6. So now we're down to 10 units. And passive income, we're bringing in about almost, let me see here, almost 10,000 net a month just off of rental. That's after the mortgage is paid. I have $0 into all of my rentals, 0. I buy them low, I fix them, and then I refinance them. I pull all of my cash out. That's how you do it. That's how you're supposed to do on rental property. You're not supposed to have any money into it, pull all of your money back out, and still have it cash flow. That's the key, dude. That's the key. Do not over leverage your rental. The key is the cash flow. That's the key. All right, you guys. That's the key to rental. If you over leverage, you're doomed, bro. It's like money going out of your pocket every single month. So do not over leverage. All right. So the key is to have 0 money into your rental property and still have a cash flow, which means after the mortgage is paid, all the utilities is paid, everything, that you still cash flow every single month. And where I'm at, the goal is to cash flow $250 per door. All right. But in my rental, dude, I buy them so cheap. I buy them so cheap that, dude, I buy them so cheap, man. I negotiate. I buy them so cheap. That's why our cash flow is just so much higher. And let me tell you guys about rental property. Dude, there's so much things in real estate that you can make money. So in rental property, I don't mean to go off topic here. I don't mean to go off topic, but in the rental property, if you buy them low enough, what you do is you rehab them, you refinance, and when you refinance them, you're able to pull all your money back out and even extra money. And let me tell you how you can pull out extra money. because the bank will loan you 75 to 80% on the ARV, which means on the after repair value, the bank will loan you. It obviously you gotta have get credit, you gotta go to their whole qualification. But if you go through all of that, is that they will loan you, and that's why most buyer, you know how they buy it at 30%, because they want to make sure that they have an exit strategy. So when they fix up the property, if they can't flip it somehow, the market or whatever it does, that they can still refinance at a 35%, right? That's why they bought it at 30%, so they can refinance and pull their money back out, so their money don't get stuck in the house. That's why, man. But the bank, most bank will loan you 25%, which is 75 cents on the dollar. So they will loan you at 75%. So they will loan you at 75%. If you have connection with bank, which I do right now with one of my bank, they will loan you 80%. All right, 8%. So just do the math. Where are you right now, Kong? Dude, I'm in Vietnam, bro. You haven't followed me or what, dude? Show you guys around. You guys not a 3D, but like a 180. JVC said, do a powerhouse with Brett Daniel. He's all cold calling. I want to see his reaction knowing you're killing it. Rough direct mail. Oh, Brett Daniel? I don't know who he is, but I can reach out to him. I'm sure that I'll be able to find out. I'm sure that he must have a YouTube channel. I can YouTube him, Facebook him, and I'll reach out to him, bro, and see if I can get him on. But for those of you who haven't followed me on Instagram, man, hit me up on IG, dude. Kong, KHANG.WTM. I'm trying to give you some tips and tricks when working with buyers as well. When you work with buyers, those of you who follow me, you know that when you work with buyers, when you send out your deals, right? When you send out your deals to your buyers, and maybe it's been a week or 2 weeks, the buyer calls you, or you call up the buyers to follow up with the buyers. And the buyer asks you, have you have any offer on it? Have you got any bites on it? Have you got interest party? Has it, you know? The key is not to say no. Don't say no. Say yes. Yes, we got some interest buyer. I don't care if there's nobody looking at it. If that's the only buyer looking at it, do not, because they, basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to play game. Ain't no time for no game, man. Shit. Can't play game, dude. So they trying to play game. They trying to feel you. So you gotta be like, dude, I'm good. You can't. They trying to feel you, right? They trying to feel you so they can negotiate with you. Ain't gonna play that shit, man. So when they tell you, you said yes, we got interest party, we have people who are interested in it, they are just now, their partner and them are just trying to figure out some finance. That's what you tell them. Yes, we got interest party, but they got some partners, some lenders that they trying to figure out their finance. But you know what? What we are is first come, first serve. I don't care if that property been on the market for a month. I don't care if you've been trying to sell for 2 months. When you get buyer calling you and asking you, that's what you tell them. Corey, hey, look at my question. Corey, come on, man. What's your question, dude? Corey, Kong, about investing in REO property, please. REO property. What's your question on REO property, bro? So when a buyer is trying to feel you, trying to say, hey, you know, have and you say no, we haven't had any interest party, which you're trying to sell it, just tell them it's still available. We got interest party, but no one pulled the trigger. We got some interest party that they are talking to the partner, trying to figure out some finance, and once they get it figured out, then they'll let us know. But do not ever tell them that, like, when that is not hot, nobody wants it. Like, do not come off it. Do not let them feel you that the property is not hot. That's what I'm trying to say. Always know it's freaking lit. How investing in Firehouse been in a fire? Dude, Firehouse, bro, I made on it depends on how damaged it is, right? Obviously how damaged it is, dude, but Firehouse, dude, it's a hot lead. You know why? because the seller already got money from the insurance. So typically the insurance already pay them. So now whatever they sell the property for, that's just extra money. I am lucky. I got 2 deals, 2 firehouse deals, dude. One of them made me $100,000. I did a fix and flip on that one. That was way back when I started, mistake. But I ended up making like 100 on it. But it took me a year and a half. The other one, the other one was a short sale. I double close and wholesale it and flip it, like wholesale it, and that one I made like 53. I think 53 or something like that, in the 45 to 50,000, somewhere around there. But that was a firehouse. The seller said, "Hey, Colin, I already got insurance money, man. You know, they already got insurance money. Whatever they sell, they just want cash quick, and anything else, it's just extra money for them, man." So firehouse is good lead, like very good lead. The approach wholesaling REO property can't double close with REO. How should I go about it? Okay, dude, on REO, bank-owned property, it really depends on the area and the states, man. Some states you can double close, but also too is bank requirements. Some bank require you to hold a property for X amount of time, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, which means you need to hold the property for that X amount of time until you can resell it. All right, until you can resell it. But REO, yeah, man. How should I go about it? You can't, so they don't allow you to double close in your area. So here's what I would do, Corey. You ready, man? Here's a way around it, Corey. So here's what you do, dude. If that's a good deal, you got X amount of time, you find a buyer for it. You must have a buyer in place, dude, because you don't want to you don't want to risk it, go buy it, and then unless you know it's a super hot deal, like you know it's a deal and you have funds or you can get funding for it, then buy it. But what I try to do is I try to get a buyer locked in before obviously you take before you close on it, that you are now become a buyer, right? The owner. So what you want to do is, dude, you gotta lock up. You feed it out to your buyers. Once you got a buyer that bites on it, get a freaking contract in with your buyers and tell them to drop off their non-refundable, but set the closing date out to whenever. Like if, okay, for example, and I did this on one of my deals, dude. For example, because you don't want to wait. So if the banks tell you, hey, you need to hold this property for 30 days, for 60 days, or whatever, until you can resell it, then what you want to do is set the closing date with your buyer out to that day. Hey, you know what? It's just an REO property. Your buyer's gonna know it, man. Like, yeah, so you don't need to hide. Hey, we bought it for this X amount. Like, you don't need to tell them how much you got it for. But I mean, it's an REO property. It's gonna be online. Are they gonna find out? Who cares? So what it is if you guys agree on a price, then you set the closing date out to the date that now it's good for you to resell the property. Does that make sense? So if the bank said, hey, you can't sell this for the next 30 days, then set the closing with your end buyer, right? Set the closing with your end buyer 30 days from that day. All right, and get your buyer to drop off the non-refundable. That's the key. So now you already have a buyer in place. So when you close on that deal with the REO, with the bank, then now you already have a buyer in place. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, man. But I don't want to like close on it, like I said, unless it's a super good deal, right? And it really how you want to do it, man, is that close on it and then go try to find a buyer for it, and now you become the buyer. Like you hold on a second, I want to make sure I say this right. So now you got the property, right? Now you got the property, and then now you've gone out there, you're hunting for buyers. Like, I don't want to put myself in a position where I have no buyer yet, if that makes sense. I always want to make sure I have buyers for those kind of deals, because I don't want to end up closing on it and then now try to find a buyer for it. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Deal or no deal, ARV, repair, 60. Ralph, maybe somebody can help you out on that, man. Let me see here. So I gave you guys some tips and tricks on dealing, for those of you who are starting out, I have some of you guys ask me, so Kong, okay, let me tell you guys a key to virtual wholesaling. I have some of you guys ask me, so Kong, what is the key to virtual wholesaling? Listen up, dude. The key to be able to virtually wholesale, you must know how to lock the property up on the contract all over the phone. It's not about finding foot on the ground. It's not about finding foot on the ground. It's not about building a team somewhere else, like in another state. It's not. It's about locking the deal up over the phone. That is the key to virtual wholesaling. Being able to lock it up all over the phone. All over the phone. Once you lock it up, then now you can virtually market it, right? Market online, on social media, like, you know what I'm saying? But that's the key. The key is being able, not getting foot on the ground. Most people think, oh yeah, if I want to virtually wholesale, I go into another market, I can now gotta build a team. I gotta get foot on the ground, I gotta connect with contractor, I gotta connect with a realtor in that area. No, the key is being able to just lock it up over the phone, man. And there is a skill to that. And that's where my King Kong Seller Script package show you how it's done. Because I don't go meet seller. Like most of you guys get confused. I don't see sellers, I don't see properties, I don't see buyers. We're closing all of this virtually, baby. That's right. And you know how we do it, man. Once you go virtual, you're not gonna wanna go physical. I don't know how much time I have left, but let me see here. Any other? How do you show the property virtually? Yeah, man. So, okay, man. How to show the property virtually is, let's just say if the property's vacant, then you already know that that's easy. But let's just say if the property's rented. So let's start first if the property's rented. If the property's rented, all you need to do is call the seller, tell the seller, hey, set the appointment, hey, this is the time that my buyer, or not my buyer, this is the time where my contractors can walk through the property, figure out the time and a date with your buyer first, go back to the seller, confirm with them, see if that time worked. The seller will set it up with your renter. That's it. You don't need to be there, right? You don't need to be there, okay? Okay, now let's just say if the seller is there, let's just say the seller is occupying the property. Well, here's what you do, okay? Now this is where you reach out to other wholesalers, maybe other one that are in the RIA. You know, you guys gotta understand that there's always new people in the game. So now what you wanna do is that you got to now start building relationship, having foot on the ground. But that's not the key. Like, does that make sense? That is a part of your missing puzzle. But it's not the key to being able to virtually wholesale. It's being able to lock it up on a contract virtually over the phone. And then you can start building foot on the ground and getting a team on the ground. But you can bypass that by just by qualifying your buyer, making sure they're legit, prep your buyer up, let him know, hey, you're there on behalf of our company as a contractor. All right, to go through the property, look at all the repairs. You can ask the seller anything about the property and all of that. You can look at everything that you needed to look at, but please be professionals, all right? Be professionals and do not discuss price with the seller. So you qualify your buyer, you prep them up, and then now you're gonna go and prep your seller up and tell your seller, hey, our contractor is gonna be there this day, this time. They're gonna go through and they're just gonna look at all the repairs that is needed, all right? And that's it. So you just prep your seller, tell them that it's the contractor. Now you will tell me, well, what if they talk about price? That's why I'm saying qualify your buyer. Get on the phone, make sure they're legit. And this is if you're starting out, if you are just starting to build that team. Eventually, what you want to do is you're going to go to your local RIA. Go to the Facebook group or the local RIA, Google local RIA, and connect with somebody that are just getting in the game. When they just get in the game, what do? Dude, they're excited to connect with other people, learning the process of how to do it, and just connection. Tell them, hey, man, hey, whatever your name is, hey, we're wholesale, we got a property, we'd love to work with you. How much would you charge to send someone out there? Or would you be able to go and show the property for us? because they already, you know what I mean? And you just let them know, hey, you just need to show up there on behalf of our company, our partner, and we just want to make sure that the buyer and the seller, all you are there is just to facilitate. You don't do anything, you just facilitate, all right? You just facilitate making sure the seller and the buyer doesn't talk price, but we already prepped the buyer up, we already told the seller already, you're just there just to make sure that the buyer know that, hey, I have someone on my team that's there and they're not gonna do anything crazy, right? And you guys gotta understand, man, when they are new into the game, they're fresh into the game, they're excited to connect with you. They're excited to connect and build relationship because they, you know, so that's how you start getting foot on the ground in the area that you don't operate in. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So I hope that helps, man. And the one thing that I also want to give you guys some tips and advice on is what kind of held me back. What I did too. That is that fear of the buyers and the seller talking price, and you haven't built your team, and you don't show it. Like, you don't take the next action because you're afraid that you lose the deal because the buyer and the seller, the buyer might go behind your back and they might discuss price. Listen to me. Prep it up. Prep them up. Prep the seller, prep the buyer up. If you don't have anybody there already, or if you don't have anybody there yet, like you haven't built up that connection yet, it's okay. Let them go. Let them just pull the trigger. Don't let that fear hold you back from potentially getting this deal done because you're afraid, you haven't built that connection, you haven't got anybody there to show, to facilitate the showing, so you don't pull the trigger to set up the appointment. It's okay. Listen to me, man. If you build a good rapport with the seller knows that they got an agreement with you. All right, the worst thing is your buyer's gonna go behind your back and say, hey, you know what, let's wait until it's expired. But dude, in the meantime, you can still market. So don't let that fear hold you back from doing what you need to do. So just pull the trigger, set it up, prep your buyer, prep your seller, and then just set up the showing and let them do their thing. All right? And dude, cheater will never win, man, because it's a mindset game, right? I believe it's a mindset, it's character, it's who you are and how you do business. If that's how they do it, dude, it will only last on 1 deal, 2 deals, 3 deals. But dude, the word spreads so quick, man. The word spreads so quick, dude. But one thing I can tell you is so far up to today, we have no buyers that really try to go behind our back and actually got the deal done. One of them did try, but it never happened because we built such a good rapport with the seller that the seller tells us what was going on, and we end up not working with that buyer anymore. There's always good people and bad people. I really believe there's plenty more good people out there than bad people, but sometimes there is the one that really try to do that. But I'm telling you, is do not let that fear hold you back from what you need to do. That's all. Do you know what I mean? Like when I first started, man, I was worried about that so much, where I did not set the appointment for this buyer until like 2 weeks later. Until 2 weeks later, I was thinking about it, thinking about it, and I said, you know what? I have no other buyer. I'm just gonna take my chances. And that buyer ended up, we negotiated with him and got the deal done. And I was like, oh my God, stupid. Like, come on, man, Kong, let's go, man. Kong, do you do a one-on-one? Yeah, dude, but it's hella expensive, bro. 35G, dude. Up front, like 35K up front. So, the one-on-one is expensive, man. My issue is that I have barely few buyers in my area that wants at least a 30% more discount. All right, I think the wife is here. I gotta bounce. Maybe I'll bounce back on with you guys a little bit later because my wife's gonna go get her hair done. But you guys follow me on Instagram. I'm gonna go live there. Ciao, you guys. I hope this little time that we spent together